They do. To go and they back again, and they come back with peaches.
I need to move it because I can't.
Where were you guys born?
Me, New York City.
You were born in New York City?
Yeah.
Where were you born, Grandpa?
Waterbury.
In Waterbury.
Born and raised. Yeah. Thoroughbred. Lithuanian.
We had a
No mixture.
we wanted a barrel. I wanted a barrel, so we got it was a heavy beer barrel. And they set me on top of it. He was right. It tipped over and went on my leg. Oh, it was hurting me so much. You know, I couldn't stop crying. So she heard me during the night. So she asked me what was the matter. So I told her, you know, he looked at it. And then she'd get a rag and she'd say, everybody pee on it. I put it around my, and you know, the pain went away.
Still worked, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Can you believe
Oh,
that?
I guess that's why my leg is the way it is today.
Although that's like bad enough.
It's,
It never was straight. It always curved this way.
in the hospital, they try to straighten it out. You can't do nothing with it. It's done like that. It's done like that.
Yeah, it wasn't from the stroke. Your foot always did go this way. Yeah.
And then they used to have a sweet apple tree with sweet apples. Well, so we used to go swimming. Pearl Lake.
Pearl Lake Road,
We used
yeah.
to be swimming there. We used to go there, so we used to run and get some of the apples and eat them on the way home. And,
What you call them, July sweets or
yeah,
something?
dry sweets. Oh, they were good. But then sometimes we'd go and swim and they'd go up to the diamond company was right by there, you know, where we were going to go through. They'd go and swipe a few bottles of soda.
It was diamond ginger ale, that's what he's trying to tell you. It was
Oh,
diamond
okay.
ginger ale, they called it the Diamond Company.
Now the pond now is a mess. It's
Oh,
no more
yes.
swimming.
Polluted.
Polluted.
Yeah.
Nobody would take care of it.
We went swimming with our cousin now. We were swimming along. Yeah,
Jeez.
And the water. It comes up on top.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Bill.
Oh my God.
The very first piece of pollution ever floated around in that pond, huh?
That's why that pond.
They used to drown
Got
cats.
polluted.
They used to have cats stayed dead in a bag and drown them, you know.
Oh, that's terrible. They still do that.
Oh, we don't need to hear that.
Oh, I know, but they
Then we'd have to
do.
go.
They arrested a lady the other
To
day
go
in
across
Waterbury.
the river, you know, you had to go across to go to a pond. You had a trestle, you know, and you had to go. Well, we used to go across it. I was always afraid to go across it, you know, afraid of a train coming.
Lisa,
Then I
wash
have
your
to,
hands.
you know, what would I do?
Huh?
But
Jump
I
off
did.
in the water.
What? The
It was
would
okay,
be-
and then you would
Oh.
just
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the way now, Lisa.
In the winter time, they used to have a
Why
ripper.
do you do all this now?
Well, they used to
Because
make a big ripper.
I didn't have
You
time
know,
to do it
put all
earlier.
the kids on and
And
go
now
down
we're
the
all
hill,
sitting
you
out here,
know?
must
A big what? A ripper.
Yeah.
They
you
call
put
it a
on-
ripper.
Okay.
you
It
know,
was
you
like
sit on
a
it.
type of a
Like a
sled.
toboggan.
Yeah, no, it had two sleds on there where we drive, and then a big board right across it.
Okay.
And they called it a ripper.
We should go down the hill from the top of the Island Avenue to the bottom. It was
Oh, wow.
a mile long, you know?
Yeah.
We should go down that. We should, if we'd ever tip, we'd break our legs.
I'll bet. I was going to ask if
Yeah.
anybody ever got seriously
Never
injured on the
tipped.
ripper.
Never tip. So,
Wow.
yeah. Once in a while, they go down, so we go out on the sled, and we follow them down, and, you know, grab them and try to pick them up.
Where were the cars and trucks?
It was, what?
Where were the cars and trucks?
There weren't.
There wasn't that many that day.
Are you kidding?
We had a Bay State, the big square box, like, you know what I mean? My father went in the ditch with it, took it out of the ditch, and there was only just a few scratches on it.
Couldn't do much damage, huh?
Then, well, we were young, we didn't have a sled, so we finally bought a sled. And I had skates, I think. So I took the skates, and my father took the sled, and he went down 3rd Street Hill, you know, it's a hill. So I'm skating around. My brother hasn't coming up. I said, what happened to him? So then the guy gets out of the car, he stops the car, gets out, he takes the sled out, and it's broken.
Got run over?
My brother hit into a car.
Oh, no.
But he was like, hurt.
That must have been
That
your
was
brother
the-
Stanley?
No, Joe.
Joe, oh,
That was
Joe?
the end of it.
it was the end of that sled.
Wow.
Growing up in Florida, not only did we not have snow, we didn't have hills.
That's right.
Oh,
we
yeah,
had
no
that.
snow.
We had a tractor in the backyard that stayed wet about 9 months out of the year. And we'd tie a rope onto that tractor and tie it to a piece of plywood and put somebody on a piece of plywood. Matter of fact, we'd have 4 or 5 people on a piece of plywood sometimes and go and do circles with,
Yeah.
Donuts?
yeah, cutting donuts and slinging that piece of plywood around.
We had, like, woods we had, so we used to get a piece of iron, like a, you know, built up the front, like a toboggan. And in the woods, you go through the grass and everything, down the hills.
You know what we use for the same thing? We use the hood of a car. Go to the junkyard and take a hood off of a car and flip it upside down and ride the inside of the car with it.
That works. Neat.
Hey, Susan, what's the email address down here? Is it McCall's at?
McCall's 4.
At Earthlink.net?
.net.
Yeah.
McCall's.
And,
Man.
I went into
Yeah.
the scouts.
Is it apostrophe S or just
I
S?
went into the
No,
scouts.
just
Just
S.
S.
And I was there a little while, and the scout quit or something. So I took over. I was a scout leader for a while.
You went from being a Boy Scout to Scout leader, huh?
The scout leader, you take them for a test out cooking, you know.
That's why you don't mind like your
That was
cook today.
best thing. He used to cook and I said to eat it.
you didn't get sick, they passed.
Is that why you don't like to cook today? Bill?
I'm assuming so.
I know.
I don't either.
I guess
By the time I finished cooking, I lost my appetite.
I can vouch for that. That happens.
Well,
Hey, Sue.
Then we
that's
used
because
to
you're eating
have
everything
a
as you're
tree
going.
where we lived, and the girls used to, there were about 3 girls we used to take
Who
right
warmed your
there
father up tonight?
alone. They used to have, so I used to grab a shell shaker, go up in the tree, take an apple with salt on it and eat it, you know, to sweeten it up.
Mm-hmm.
You too.
Go sit in the
try
apple
that.
eating, go sit in the tree sharing apples with girls, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know how loud I'd tell that story if I were you, Grandpa.
So we used to have a barn right there up in Highland Avenue. We used to go play hide and seek, you know, and they had
Mm-hmm.
ways to go down into the
Oh, that's good.
to the hole down there and there. And,
The hay crib.
Yeah. Right.
How's everything back north, Scott?
We got hell because we buttoned out this straw.
Yeah, farmers don't take too kindly to you jumping off in their hay crib. We got in trouble for doing the same thing one time. What we did was we tore up a man's bales. He had just bales and bales of hay stacked up. And we climbed all over them until we knocked the strings off the bales, and there was hay all over. Oh, he was upset.
I did.
Somebody's crying.
Oh.
Sick.
Chris,
Who's
we
sick?
have to go get it.
Your little baby?
What happened to
So
little
what's the
man?
matter with him?
Got a little cold.
Oh no.
How's everything back north.
Good.
No snow,
Man,
no mention of
3
it.
degrees.
3.
Great.
What?
I think it's good to be a
Winter's in.
Floridian.
Winter's here.
Think so.
Look at Cody, he's shuddering. 3?
Didn't even know it.
Did you say 3?
Did you play that?
Well,
You wanna go,
You're hunting
sweetheart?
99 or?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
I don't ever play
you
it.
chalked yourself.
I've killed a few deer on it, and
You
it's
trapped
kind of the same
yourself,
thing
or
over
you
and over
trapped
again.
yourself.
It's a limited version. It's
Something,
not
and you
a.
made, and you
Yeah,
tried
Craig's
me
got
out.
Oh, these things I remember.
Craig's got it.
Oh, it's innocent.
Well, I'm glad you remember.
I had a BB shotgun. No, I had a BB shotgun, and my brother would come up and he's shooting at the birds, you know what I mean? But then he always looks and the cop is coming up the stairs, so he drops the gun and he runs away like hell. Leaves me there.
Who gets blamed?
Oh, leaves you with the gun.
So he comes up and he says, well, I gotta take the gun because the guy put in a complaint, you know. But I knew the cop. He left it downstairs in the store and I picked it up later on. He used to come in the store where I worked. And once in a while he'd go in the back and take a nap.
You better not mess with me
Would
then.
come around, we'd tell and he'd go out the back way.
Cool.
He made the
Just
for
dangerous
chocolate ice
stuff.
cream,
Gotta
the
be
chocolate
careful.
used to make it delicious.
Come on.
Used to make it in a 10
Wire.
gallon can, sugar and chocolate. Oh, that was
The syrup, not the ice cream. You're talking about the syrup that Sam Thomas
Yeah.
made.
It was good.
What
you
did your
make,
parents do, Grandpa?
My mother worked in the shop and my father was a tailor.
In what kind of shop?
Well,
A
they made
retail
all kinds of
store?
No, manufacturing. No, she
Manufacturing.
was in a
Oh,
factory.
okay.
On presses most of the
My
time,
father
I
was a
guess.
tailor.
She had a couple of fingers missing,
he
didn't
made,
she?
you know,
On a
he
press.
fixed
Lost
clothes.
the
I thought that was from the dog.
adjusted, and He didn't do anything in tailoring. He never taught us the trade. He said there's
No,
no money in it.
no, that was from a.
I guess I don't think I'd be interested in
That
learning
was
that you
from
ever
press
met.
working on the automatic
she
presses.
should've-
Is that
You
why?
should've learned
Is that
English.
why the pictures I see of y'all back like I guess when y'all were fairly recently married, I've seen some pictures in your house from back around that time frame. You were always dressed in absolute tea. Did your father make the majority of what y'all wore or not?
No, he did make suits for us at times, you know.
That's what you're wearing in all the pictures I've looked at. Is you're wearing
Yeah.
suits.
When Joe used to get, or Joe or Stanley used to get true with it, he used to cut it down in ice.
You got the hand-me-down.
So you had all the new suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, his father was quite
Yeah,
quite
my
a
mother went
tailor,
in-
though.
Went into the shop and she worked on like on presses. She lost a finger. She cut
There was
it
a
off.
couple of things.
Oh.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Lose the entire finger or just part of it?
No,
Part of it.
The end of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, she had quite
And
quite a
then
bit going.
I got into the shop. Yeah, my mother knew a foreman there, so she got me to the shop. That's how I got in the shop there. So I worked as a foreman, and then they got slow, so he sent me into the stamp room. And I used to stamp buttons. They had like a strap going around the wheel, and you just put the button on and lift up your hand and it stamped the buttons. And used to get into a rhythm, you know what I mean? you hope they didn't get out of the rhythm, because if you hit it at the wrong time, your finger is smashed.
Goodbye, fingers.
So
Ouch.
I was putting in the tools for the buttons, you know, how to put it in. And they had a safety, so I put the safety on. I forgot, and I come up too fast, but I hit the safety, so I was safe. So I'm telling you, they had so many buttons, it wasn't even funny. And then I worked as
Now
a
what-
foreman. I got into be a supervisor. I got to be a
Assistant
foreman.
foreman.
Or
What
assistant
years are
foreman.
we talking about here? What time frame?
Oh,
Just ballpark.
Married in 1943, honey.
yeah.
So, it was through what? And then you retired when you were what, 61, so
Yeah,
Mid-40s?
40s, 50s,
23,
somewhere
the 40s,
And
the 50s,
I used to
the
take care
60s.
of the whole room, the solutions, make the solutions, make sure they're all right, if they're, and I always worked overtime. And I used to take care of them all the time, make sure they were, work was coming out nice and clean, plating and
That's right.
rising.
Energizing and plating?
Huh?
And then if the guys, he had orders to put out, and the guys wouldn't stay, I would stay over and do the work. We had a big hoist. And, you lift it up with a crane, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And go into a solution. And they had a solution that brightened up the aluminum, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he'd drop a bar in there, you know what I mean? And I had to get it out, tell the smoke coming out, all this brown smoke. I'm surprised my lungs are that good.
Yeah,
I'm
tell them how
surprised too,
big,
because that's
tell
acid
them how
he's
big
talking
those
about.
pools were. They were like swimming
All
pools.
kinds of chemicals
big,
you worked with.
Yeah.
pools,
Yeah,
chemicals.
that's what he's talking about, brighten aluminum, that's an acid, it's a mild solution, that's I know exactly what it's talking about, and it's amazing.
Well,
what else it gives
the
us.
solution was, you know, all acid in there.
Yes.
And you had to keep it at a certain level. If you did, it'd come out rough edges.
It'll
It would be
either
no
etch it or
good.
smooth it.
Yeah. So I had to make sure it was always at a certain, I had it down perfect. I put in some solution I had to, water. Sometimes over the weekend, the water would dry out and be like a chunk of ice in there, you know what I mean? So I had to put a lot of water in it, put a little heat on, and wait maybe a day before I get it back at the solution again.
What was your average work day hours wise? How many hours was an average work day?
Oh, the average work day was 7 to 3, but I used to work over, always worked over.
Was that unionized?
Oh, yeah. Always worked over.
That's what did him in, the
And then
union.
you went in a half an hour earlier, remember?
I used to go in at 5
For
o'clock.
setup, yeah,
And
you went
sometimes,
in earlier.
if they had work they had to get out, I'd stay till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock before I get out.
Yes, sir.
And then when we went on vacation, I used to have to close everything down, cover it up, everything. And then when we come back, I'd go back like on Saturday and open everything up.
So a
Get
12,
ready.
13-hour day wasn't uncommon for you then?
Oh, no, not for me. I always work.
And what did the union say about you working those kind of hours?
Nothing.
Did they hit the roof? They didn't say
There was a little argument, but they never.
Well,
Well,
look
get
at
the
your
work out, you
dad,
have to
Jim,
work.
look at the hours your dad used to work.
I had.
He put in a lot of hours and Saturdays and
Yeah,
Sundays.
your father. Yeah,
More
he
so
worked a
than
lot of
he
hours,
did. He didn't
yeah.
work Sundays,
Yeah.
but
I
I
used to meet
remember
him sometime in the
your
room.
dad, yeah, he was
Your
working
dad worked
Sundays.
Sundays back then?
Yeah, yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Well, during the
Really?
war. During the
Oh,
war.
during the war, I
It
can see
was,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
I had about 2 strikes I think I went through. One strike, we had to go in and we do some work, you know what I mean? So we got 3 overalls and jackets, you know what I mean? And my boss, he was accident prone all the time. He'd do some work and the caustic and it'd come up and shoot all over. So I said, walk away from it, stay away from it. So that went and then they settled the strike. Then they went on strike again, and I had to go in, you know, because I was, I think, assistant foreman,
You were
supervisor.
assistant, no.
You were a supervisor, so you had to
And then,
work.
yeah, but then you were
So I went
assistant
in through
foreman
the
after,
office.
Bill.
I went in, I said, how am I gonna get out now? Then I gotta get out, but they settled the strike that day. So I
That's
could
good.
get out through the front door.
That's good.
I bet that was pretty hairy.
Oh, yeah, I used to go.
I mean, strikes today are bad enough, but back then strikes were some pretty
they were,
violent
yeah.
affairs.
When I used to go in, they used to walk around, you didn't have to go through the line. Walk kind of fast because they used to try to trip you.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I walked in. And these bosses they had, the bosses that they didn't like her, the last day, I mean, we used to go and look at them through the front door, you know, like, it was like a shipping center. And to see them come in, they get razzed like hell.
Now, the bosses that the laborers did like, did they give you a real hard time when they were on strike anyway? Or
No.
pretty calm with the ones that were decent people?
Just have to make the supplies out and the requisitions and take them up to the storehouse. That's where Tommy used to work. They played golf with Tommy.
Oh, Mitchell.
He was in the office. I used to play the requisitions with him. And foreman would come to see me, I mean not foreman, but a salesman selling the products. And I always picked out the best one. So one time I come in, I found a dozen golf balls on my desk.
Oh, sneaky. Just something.
Did you ever meet up with the guy in your complex who used to work at Scoville?
Oh,
I don't know, Grandma was reading the card and said she recognized the name, he lived right up.
Oh, yeah, that name Frank Bensel.
I don't know.
I must someday I wish there was some way that you could, get so that you could see him, because his name is signed in the retirement card.
Card,
yeah. And I asked Art Groshue, and he said he thinks that Frank Bensel did work at Scoville's. I said, then he must have, because the name is, and Bensel is not a very common name.
I went through a whole plant of times, I used to ship it every day, used to be a problem. You have to ship, pack. I used to nail up the cartons, put the straps on, put them on the skids, make out the tickets for shipping.
Had to do everything.
His
Over
father
to
has taught
where it
him, I don't know how
ships out,
long.
where they ship them out,
Oh,
and there's
the pup.
tickets upstairs. Oh, all the time, always the last minute of shipping all the time, have to ship them out. And we did a lot of those for the Yesels. Do you remember the Yesel?
Yes, sir.
You were responsible for that?
Yeah, I guess so.
We used to make the where the buttons used to go on the wheel.
Well, the buttons that used to pop out
Yeah.
and cause the transmission to engage and roll down
That's-
hills.
I don't know what it was.
I had one take out my
gee.
parents' front porch.
Are you kidding me?
Rolled down the hill, popped into gear by itself. Had the push button transmission on the dash.
Yeah, and his sister,
What was the other car that had a push button transmission? Galaxy. Ford Galaxy
Was
had
it
a
a
push button transmission.
It didn't last long.
no.
Yeah, I had a Scoutmaster who had one. That's the only one I've ever seen in my life was on a Ford Galaxy.
Oh, boy.
We then during the war we used to make all kinds of for aviators for the goggles. We dyed them black. They're aluminum. We made a lot of them. About almost 15 parts went to the goggles.
Oh, my gracious.
Wow.
15
yeah.
parts.
It was before
And we
plastic.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Rivets for the airplanes. We used to get them by the bagfuls, and we set them up like the sheet of aluminum, and there's a put lacquer on it, and set up like a cone, and put them on, and then press them down with a used to come down with a press and press them down, and lift them up and let them dry out, and then we used to anodize them and put them in the colors that they wanted, blue or green or whatever it was. And then, once we took them off, we used to put them in the lacquer, and they dissolved the lacquer from them, and they were ready for shipping.
Did you ever wear any kind of protective respirator or anything working around that lacquer?
No.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal that you're in as good a health as you're in.
I had a foreman that worked under me, and I told him to put some acid in the tank. So he wants to do a quick job, so he gets a gallon. We have stainless steel pails. Now he gets a regular pail.
Oh, galvanized.
And he puts the acid in it. And the
Oh,
fumes are coming
no, that's the
up.
one that didn't kill him.
That's right. They're coming up. I said, what are you doing? He's staying there, like I said. I said, get out. I took the pail and threw it in the water and killed everything.
Was that Joe Leone?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my gracious.
Oh, I had to watch him all the time.
Oh, he
You
was
always try
pathetic.
shortcuts.
Pathetic.
Wow.
Pathetic
Sure,
little
I-
soul.
I-
That's like people who go mix bleach and ammonia thinking they're
Oh,
gonna make up
I
some kind
know,
of a
is
cleaning
that
solution.
something?
One used to go so low on the acid, we had long tanks, you know, so low on the acid, I used to order the acid to put it, to get in the, to keep it, the nitric. Oh, yeah, all the running I did around there.
How did you two meet?
Chloride, the chlorine, don't breathe deep.
How? I had a sister-in-law, and she worked in a rubber company. And she said she had met a nice girl, she'd like me to go out with her. I said, okay, fix me up and we'll go.
So y'all were a blind date then, your
No.
first one?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Oh, you set him up.
You'd already scouted him out, huh?
You set him up.
No, she had said, oh, why don't you come down? I have the cutest little brother-in-law. I said, I'm not interested. She says, oh, come on down. I says, no. So this particular day she said to me, oh, why don't you come down this evening, she said. And I said, okay. But I didn't know that she had told him to come too. So she had really set it up. So then we met, and then I think he walked me home. Then he asked for a date, and I said, okay, you know. But I think we went together for about 6 months, and then I dropped him.
I
It didn't
went up
interest
to
me.
take her to dance, and I couldn't get a hold of her, and she wouldn't call me on the phone, so I knew it was over, so I didn't bother. I took someone else to the
Nice,
dance.
Grandma.
And then about, I don't know.
No, it was 6 months, and then your sister-in-law met me in the factory where we were working, and she bumped into me and said, "Oh," she said, "come on," she said, "we're going to Mary's out in Astoria, Long Island. We're going to a party." She said, "Why don't you come along with Bill?" I said, "Oh, I don't think so. I don't want to go." She said, "Oh, come on," she said. "We'll have a good time," she said. I said, "Well, I don't really think Bill will want to go with me." She says, "Are you kidding?" So anyways, I said, "Oh, all right." I figured the heck, I was a party girl, you know, I like good times. So sure enough, I went, and then before you know it, I don't know what happened.
She always dressed differently. It seemed like they dressed like the other girls, but she always has a nice hat or coat or something.
Something to set her apart.
Always, yeah, always. And then we started going. We started going out, and then I got serious. I used to be in the car. I used to go out in the car. My feet would be frozen. I'd be feeling like that.
Or walking home at those odd hours.
Yeah, frozen
the
ears.
o'clock in the
the
morning.
car broke down, so I used to walk from her house from East Main all the way into
No,
Brooklyn.
from school, oh, no, from Pearl Street.
Yeah.
And then one night you didn't show up, and come to find out that morning you were walking home and you froze your ears.
So I'm going to
And-
work.
Froze
Bandages up.
his ears. And so that's why I wondered why he didn't come up the next night. And then his sister-in-law said to me the reason Bill didn't show up, but he was so embarrassed because his ears were bandaged. He looked like a bunny rabbit.
Tell him how when he came up to see you, knocked at the door, Grandma answered the door, and you were standing behind the door shaking your fist, telling her, "Tell him I'm not home."
Yeah, she told him.
Yeah, and she couldn't, because she really liked him. And she couldn't do it. And she said, "Yeah, she's here, come on in." And she said, "My mother was standing behind the door shaking her fist." And that was the night he stayed for a long time too, I guess.
And I was king at a house there.
Yep.
When they used to go to, she used to make a turkey or something for like Thanksgiving.
Good care of him.
Always take care of him first. Give him a drink or anything like that. If she didn't, she'd holler at him. And I used to work in the parking lot. You know, park cars there, on East Main there. And I used to, halfway through when they were in the show, he used to come out on the porch. They say, "You want something to eat?" I said, "What do you got?" He used to make, and my father would have to take it downstairs for me.
Your father-in-law, my father used to. Yeah, my mother was quite a cook. She It's
Yes, she
always,
was.
yeah, she was always,
Well, what happened?
I don't know.
Well, she never passed down the recipes. I mean, she never had
Oh,
a
no,
recipe
she
to
took
follow. She
good.
just threw things together.
Yeah.
She always had good
Somebody
food.
along the way here ought to know, you know,
I
she got in the
He used to
cooking
work
team.
every
Made the
Friday and
best
Saturday
cigars.
parking cars, and he was
Yeah.
the best fed guy in the city of Waterbury.
I used to hate, you know, what was it, Friday?
Fridays and Saturdays she
Because
worked.
they were the busy days. You used to come into the parking lot all at once. I mean, you can't park them all at once, you know what I mean? You gotta park them fast. And then when they got to the theater, it was just as fast. You come out, they all want their cars, you know what I mean? I had that one guy come in, parked behind the car, took his keys and was going. I said, "Where are you going?" I said, "The keys gotta stay in the car. How else does this guy get them out?" He said, "That's your problem." I said, "Get in the car and get out."
Get it out.
Yeah, come to think of it, Bill, I think it was, the stores used to be open on Thursday night.
Yeah.
You used to work Thursday, Friday,
Yeah,
and Saturday
Saturday, yeah.
night.
At
That's
night,
right. Yeah, 'cause Thursday nights the store stayed open till
I
9.
scratched a few cars, but
Yeah.
I was wondering about
I
that.
guess you did. I bet they were Mercedes too.
you know.
Yeah, I remember you used to stay over at Grandma's and go down and sit
Yeah.
in the little
How old were you when you
office
bought your
Yeah.
first car?
Me and my brother bought it, you know, like separately, you know, like half and half.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
was, I was
who
about-
owned most of it? Your brother?
Yeah, I was about 21, somewhere around there, 20, 21.
How much did you pay for your first car?
Oh, not too much.
What was
I
it
don't know
used?
about-
Remember
yeah,
that
it was
old
a few-
Plymouth
it was
pack?
Plymouth, it was used
Was the one
car.
that they
Mhm.
towed away that we cried?
That we cried.
So,
I remember that.
You
So,
can't
I
remember.
I remember
didn't-
standing there crying.
I didn't,
She's so
Stanley had it more than I did, you know what I mean?
Junkie.
So then I
Excuse
finally
me.
took the car over, and I had it. And I used to like to fix my cars, you know, but the thing was, I like to fix them, but I couldn't afford the tools to get it done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh.
I remember sitting
I
on the
did
road where
everything
I used
on
to
the
play on the
car.
running board all the time.
Bearing
It was always
cap.
parked in the parking lot. 'cause
you know,
couldn't
put
go
new
anywhere.
rings in, bearings,
What model Plymouth did you have?
29, I think it was.
No. What?
Yeah, I think it was 29.
It was old.
You think it was a 29?
No, I don't think it
Yeah.
was a 20, maybe a 39.
No,
Couldn't have been that.
No,
Yeah,
had
maybe
it
a 39, because I was what?
14.
What year were you born, Grandpa?
I was born in 1919.
1919, so 29, 39. He'd have bought it somewhere around 1940, so 29 would be about right. He
I
bought it
used to-
around 1940.
I used to know all the models of the cars. The car went by, I could tell you what year it was,
Yes, sir.
because they did things different every year.
My
Right.
brother could do the same thing. I never understood how.
I could tell you what the year it was.
Not anymore, not today. They don't change the styles,
Not
they're all
today,
the
no.
same now. Very hard to.
I had the, let's call it what's
Nash Rambler,
No, not the
oh,
Nash
remember the
Rambler.
monster?
The boat.
That was a book.
I had yeah.
Noah used that first.
I had a man, I
It was
bought a
wasn't
Nash.
that awful?
No,
It was a big car.
It was a not beautiful riding car, but it was a
And,
monster.
Every
every
time
one
it
was
started,
first
we
school
couldn't
bus.
start it until it cooled down for
That was
about
the
20
first school
minutes.
bus.
We were gonna go over
You know what I
there.
mean? Well, what I had to do was
Still
get
don't
a-
get too hot.
well, I had to get a stronger starter in there that wouldn't get
Yes,
hot
sir.
as fast, you know what I mean? So she was, I used to leave her the car, you know what I mean? And she was going down the street and the guy says, "Don't go any further." He said, "You just dropped your leg."
I had the two kids in the car, was going down North Main Street, stopped at the red light at the corner of Bishop and North Main there. Well, you two kids were in the car, we were going down to Antonelli's to get, to buy meat. And they stopped at the red light and all of a sudden guys yelled, "Hey lady, whatever you do, don't go with your car because you just lost a wheel." And I said, "What?"
Holy
Get out of
cow.
the car, get out of the car, go over, and sure enough, the wheel had fallen off.
It
Right
had,
off.
it had what you call one bolt hole in it.
One
And-
lug.
And the hole that it held, the rubber bolt, grommet that was around it was worn away, and it would go up and almost that thin, and then it dropped the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So I had it fixed. I had it fixed, it cost me over $100. And I got it, it wasn't right. So I brought it back to him. So he wanted some more money. I said, no, you didn't fix it right. So he fixed it. So about a month later, she's coming down again, down the street. She steps on
with me again.
She steps on the
No.
brake, and the other wheel
Right
pops.
down
Oh my gosh.
Down off where you go right on
Shit,
West
I thought you
Main
said
Street
that
going
about you
down.
on that car.
Yeah.
So then I
But
said,
this time he
this time
didn't.
I said, bring it
That's
to the
it.
house and bring it in the back there and leave it there. I
He
went down
fixed
the
it.
the garage, I forgot the special spring and everything that it needed. I took it off and put it on myself, and it only cost me about $40.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, they roofed us that time.
Then we used to go on vacations with that Nash.
Monster. You
And-
named it the Monster, Bill.
Take the ferry.
Oh,
the-
jeez.
The ferry and Gary and her would be fighting always in the back. I said, get on
They
this
had
side.
a, no, tell them why we had an armrest. This one would want it down, and Gary would want it up, she'd want it down,
Oh,
and finally, he would,
We never had
he
an
would
armrest,
yell
did
at
we?
them. He would yell at the two of
We
them.
just fought
What
over
was that?
space.
He'd say, knock it off now, he's on
Then we used to go on the
a
ferry,
trip on a ferry.
and I stopped the car. I said, I hope it starts because we're the first ones in line.
We were the first, they put us the first ones in line when we went to Hershey.
Now, what ferry are we talking about?
Going to Hershey Park in Pennsylvania.
I don't even remember where the ferry
Yeah,
was
the
going.
Bridgeport, it was the Bridgeport Ferry.
I remember the first time
In New York.
we were going to, I said on vacation, I said, where do you want to go? See the flowers and, where was it?
Oh, I
Somewhere,
don't
there's flowers,
remember.
or you
So
want
many
to go
places
to
we
Washington
went.
DC.
I can't remember.
So they wanted to go to Washington DC.
Oh, yeah, we went to
So I said,
Washington.
okay, we'll go to
DC.
Washington DC. So, that was, that's when we went there. You know, we went to Hershey Town, and
There was
that time,
another time, but going to
They-
Washington was another town.
they had, they went through they had everything, showed how they did everything, how they packed everything, how they made
Oh,
the
he's talking about the
compote.
Hershey candy.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Remember
And
the-
did you eat
remember
free
the-
samples till you couldn't walk?
I remember
Peanut butter
getting the
cups.
bags of that
Yeah.
candy from
we
someone.
had,
Oh, that was in Canada.
we had,
They used to stop at the Hershey.
we
Factory
bought,
and come
Yeah,
back.
we used to
we
bring it
could
up
buy
for
some
kids.
candy, and then, from there we'd go over to the Hershey cheese, where they had the Hershey cheese kisses that they made.
Not cheese kisses, Hershey kisses.
They showed how they make the,
Mm-hmm.
so.
But
we
that
bought
was
out-
really in
there
the
were-
factory, they don't
They were
do
3
that.
pounds for $1.
You're talking about the peanut butter cups.
Yeah,
But also the Hershey
No, we're
kisses.
talking about the peanut butter
Oh,
cups.
now,
This is the
yeah.
so
story.
I put them in the cooler to keep them
Yeah,
cool.
I remember that.
Well, they black split and all the,
They were floating in the water in the cooler.
We ate them, took them
and
all out.
that's when we were going to New Jersey, or the.
Oh, we were going to Atlantic City, that
That's
was when
right.
the car.
That's when I had to stop the car all the time, and I'd always stop, I'd say, I hope I get it started, but it always started. So, we went all right, then we were going.
We were going to Atlantic City and all of a
Well, that's
sudden
not
the
right.
brakes went on the
No,
car.
No, not the brakes.
Something.
When did the first, and then it wouldn't shift down.
Oh, it wouldn't shift down.
Oh,
That
no.
was
Shift
it.
down, a little
Transmission
longer.
locked
Yeah,
up.
I says, now what am I gonna do? So I stopped at a gas station, it was a Sunday,
No, it was the 4th of July, nobody was open.
but he didn't have a mechanic.
That
I
was,
said,
it was
"So," I
4th
said,
of
"Where's
July,
the-"
honey.
Motel, you know, I'll go to the motel, and they'll come back tomorrow with the car. So I got in the car, I stepped on the gas, and everything shifted. I said, let's go
So
home.
that day, we didn't get to see Atlantic City, but then we did again, we went down, and there was a time we saw little Stevie Wonder coming out on the stage, they let him out. He must have been about 15 years old, the skinniest little thing. And, you know, and when he was singing, remember he was You don't remember. And then they had the horse from the, you don't remember the
But that's because
horse?
Jim and I went back, that's where we saw the Supremes
Diving
and.
horse.
Yeah, but we
Gene
saw,
Krupa, huh?
Yeah.
The
yeah,
horse used to,
But-
jump off. and
but
go
the
get
first
it.
times when we went was
Yeah.
the steel.
Diving horse.
Yeah, the diving was.
Yeah.
Not diving horse, it actually would dive to the water. It wasn't a very large pool, I don't know how they did it. That was quite a thing.
Yeah, that was when Atlantic City was coming.
Yeah, not
Now they're just a
anymore.
gambling.
Remember,
So I
remember
I did
Savin
a
Rock?
lot of
We
sweat.
had a lot of fun at
On
Savin
vacation,
Rock.
I did a lot of sweating.
Oh, boy.
Used to like Seven Rock.
Because I got very.
Savin Rock.
We used to go
I
down there
get
quite
6
often
weeks
for a day.
vacation, you know.
Like
So
a roller
anytime I want a
coaster.
weekend, tell
Was that a
boss I'm taking
boring
weekend
date?
to take off.
Yep.
Hope the car made it.
Huh?
No, it's
Hope
fried
that the car
clams.
would make it.
Yeah, yeah. that's
Down there
right.
for fried clams. They were so good till I got
Fried
a
clams.
chance to see them in daylight. No,
He'd never had them till I dragged him down there.
Oh, we used to go there every Friday. It was
Never had what?
fried
I never had fried
clams.
clams until I took him down there.
I assume we're talking about whole, not the little
Yeah,
clam
whole
sticks.
ones.
No, we used to have the whole ones. We used to eat them. They were tiny.
You loved them till you actually saw one, huh?
Yeah.
They were good, but those are those tiny little ones, and then the onion rings, and then the lobster rolls.
Oh man, I eat those things about a pound.
Lots
Oh,
of
they
batter.
were delicious. They don't make them like that anymore. They give you these big coal hogs now, fried clams. I don't like them. These used to be tiny little bitty things too. They were good. Well, what do you say, William? I think you out-talked yourself.
Yeah,
I thought you were tired. You wanted to go home.
Oh, what's the deal here?
That's all right. I had a headache and was tired and wanted to go to bed, but I wasn't about to get up and leave when y'all were talking. That's too much fun.
Oh, yeah. We had fun, didn't
Them's
we?
was the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
They used to clean the tank out, you'd take the bars out, and they were all on the hoist, they were all filled with ships of, for dyed gold, dyed gold, and you had to clean them. Had to clean them out, take the bags
What'd
off,
you do with
those
those
bags on. This thing's all day job, all the time.
Yeah. Oh,
So I'd be working always Saturday. If it wasn't a cleaning tank, it was the chrome tank. If it wasn't that, it was another cleaning tank or.
You used to do hot dip chrome too?
No, it was cold.
Oh, gold.
Cold.
Cold. Okay.
Cold.
Yeah.
Did you do galvanizing as well?
Yeah, we had some parts we had to do galvanizing some. So they used to build up in the tank half full after they emptied it out and then to shovel it out.
I wish I had a skid
Times I had to shovel it out.
with me and his age.
Caustic tanks used to.
And you just got it. You just got in there with your boots and gloves and.
Oh, yeah,
That was it.
and the hammer. And bang the tank.
Chiseled it out.
And bang the tank
Yeah,
until
yeah.
you lose it,
Yeah.
so then
Wow.
it's
That's
out
amazing
there.
to still have.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
And I'm all wrinkled.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with all the
Wow.
stuff he's talking about they having used and
Oh,
caustic stuff.
they have to take care of all that.
they put a lot of this stuff in paints now. Stuff that they couldn't put in paints back then.
Mm.
They're now putting a lot of this in paints and this is stuff that you don't want to play with. This is some serious.
Oh, yeah.
Gets to your lungs, boy.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Good though. Lasts
It's good.
Oh yeah.
Cleans out your sinuses.
One of our customers provided pipe to an Alaskan pipeline. I mean, a Siberian pipeline, very similar to our Alaskan pipeline. Pipe was all made down there in Mulberry, and it had to be coated in mulberry with some type of coating that would withstand the harsh Siberian winters. Harsh Siberian all year, I guess.
Yeah.
And so they devised a system for spraying the inside of the pipes where they could drag this little thing down through it, and they would seal the pipes up, and they would ship them to Siberia from Mulberry. And then they'd cut them back open out there, put them together, and re-blast the areas where they had to cut them. And in order to keep the contract, get the contract and keep the contract, they were having to bribe the Siberians.
Oh, boy.
And they would do stuff like seal up a hunting rifle inside these pipes, or whatever the bribe was, they'd seal it up inside the pipe and ship it out there. But this company uses a lot of the type of chemicals and a lot of the type of coatings that you're talking about using in those big vats. And you read those warning labels, that's some pretty serious stuff.
I used to do samples, so I had to do the samples, anodize and color. So they had that century sign, so I anodized it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what happened to it.
I know, that's a beautiful sign.
It's a big sign, you know what I mean?
That was after Scoville's was sold to the Cent, and they changed the name of the firm to Century Brass, and he worked on a sign. It was a beautiful sign. I don't know whatever happened to it. Somebody got it.
Did you do any work with copper?
Well, it's the copper plate before plating. It's not that copper plate.
Did you do any patina stuff?
What's that?
Making the copper turn green?
No.
No?
We had they're about like I forget what they're called now, like putting a coat on, you know, so when.
A lacquer finish?
No.
No.
And it used to build up fast from when we used to do the work. They'd have to clean the tank up. So anytime I said a tank had to be cleaned or I used to have to check I knew how to check the solutions, and I had an office where I used to do that. And they never questioned me. No matter what I wanted, go ahead and do it. Anything I wanted, go on and do it. If I needed a pump or whatever I needed to pump the water out or the solutions, go ahead and order it. Go ahead and order it. Yeah. What a job he used to be at night, so guys go in at 5 o'clock, turn everything on, so everything be hot when they got in, so they can
That's
start
right.
working.
You did go in earlier, I know. Now
You had to work with all those women.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
They used
Some
to
of
go in,
them.
they say,
Oh,
hey,
you had a factory full of women during wartime,
Oh,
huh?
gee. Some they try to make them too, I
they
think.
used to say, hey, that's my job, I was
did,
supposed to do that
yeah.
job. None of the jobs were there, wherever I put them, they went, that was it. They said, no, I said, the
Yeah,
arguments.
he worked with all the women, poor guy.
You couldn't, you know, if you did that, you'd be getting into trouble, all kinds. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You had more women.
And
Grandpa's own personal hero down the
He
Scoville.
did,
Huh?
he had them too, let me tell you.
one is in the home, another one is about 2 or 3 of them are dead. Another one is, another one called me not too long
Angie
ago.
Macy,
She called me.
practically blind. She
Blind.
called Daddy.
And the other one is Gertie. She's
I remember Gertie.
almost over
She's
80,
still
I think.
around.
She's still around.
Yeah, she's older
Yeah.
than you. She was older than you.
My boss is dead.
2 bosses dead, 3 bosses dead, 4 bosses.
Yeah.
Outlived them all.
And they sent you in the tank.
I know.
Oh,
Isn't that
They're gonna
amazing?
give
These films used to come up here, man.
You know what happens? That stuff just preserves you.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Possibly.
I
He's
go
smart
home
enough
and
to know
I
what
be
he
home,
was
I get a phone call from
Yeah.
their place. The fumes ate away, the pipes and the sprinklers went on.
Oh, my
Everything's all
gosh.
wet.
You mean y'all had a sprinkler, a fire
Yeah,
sprinkler
yeah.
suppression,
Oh,
fire
yeah.
suppression system
So-
that far?
So
that
now
long
they,
ago?
to overcome that, they waxed the sprinklers.
Sure.
So they wouldn't rust, get through, yeah. And the glass, we had windows with glass panes like, the old guy was working and police come down and just missed him. It would have been a head, it would have killed him.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And these cranes used to be something. They used to wear out.
Ricky little things.
So if I thought they were too weak, I called the plumbers in and have them make coils.
They pipe them?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did y'all ever have any type of a major disaster at work?
No, No, I don't think so. We had, a woman fainted on me, you know what I mean? And we had
That's just because you look so good. That didn't have anything to do with work.
she was in the dressing room, and it was up a flight of stairs, so we go in treasure with treasures.
With stretchers.
To get her down. So we're going over the fence.
Dropped her.
Oh no! Did you really drop that?
Almost dropped her.
Daddy said, and she was this type, for you guys, I mean, and the girls too, the tight corset where you pulled everything in. And
Mrs.
she was so corseted, and Daddy said, no, she couldn't breathe, you know? All bound up with these, you know.
And then another one fainted in the office. Now, you couldn't lift her because she was like jelly. She was rolling all over.
Get the hose sprayer out of here.
I know. That's more like it.
I had to
Spray
take
her
some
out.
first aid. I had to take some first aid and so forth, you know what I mean? But if anything happened, I wouldn't know what to do.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Unbelievable.
We used to we used to etch the markers from the reformatory where they used to do the markers.
Oh, he's talking about license plates now.
So we used to etch them so they can paint them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They used to come in with boxes and boxes. We used to etch them from back in the boxes. And,
Did they make license plates out of aluminum?
oh, yeah. Well,
Really? No. I was
What
under
you're
the
making
impression
them out
that at
of
that
that
time
now.
aluminum was
I don't
really
know.
a valuable
I don't know what they're
substance.
making them out of now. I don't know.
But
No,
at the
I didn't
time,
know. I didn't know back then. They make them out of tin now. They're just plain old steel.
We used to make parts for the cars, for the trucks, for the cylinders, brake cylinders. They're different colors, to wherever they want them to go.
out of aluminum,
Oh, yeah, they're aluminum, yeah.
gee, not very
Our-
strong.
Everything was
I
aluminum.
just save a lot of weight.
Well, that's
And,
true too.
Hot rodders go for all aluminum brake stuff because they can save about 150
Weight and
pounds
speed.
on a vehicle
Yeah.
by changing all 4 sets of brakes to aluminum versus
Well, how about
steel.
the, what do you call it now? Plastic or what, is that what you call it now? Don't they make them out of that? Those
No,
parts
no,
now?
no.
Not the brakes.
Plastic or what, no? No.
We had always trouble with racks because once we anodized them, we had to strip them. And every time you stripped them, you took some off.
Mm-hmm.
So then they loosen up and then you'd have to get them fixed. So we got titanium in there, titanium racks.
Man, that was some seriously high dollar racks.
Oh, they're expensive, you know what I mean?
But I'll say,
But the trouble with those was, you could do them, but you didn't have to strip them. You could do them all over again.
Hmm.
But with those, the electricity is like pouring the electricity from a big pipe to a little coil. Because they were very poor on electricity.
Hmm.
So I used to have to tighten up all the racks all the time, make sure they're tight. Otherwise.
that surprises me. I thought titanium was a real good electrical conductor.
No, they're very poor.
I didn't know that.
Strong
Yeah.
but dumb. Didn't move.
Then I went, when it got slow, I went to they were making shells, and they were always turning, you know what I mean? When I got out of there, I couldn't hear a thing.
You know that?
Tumbling, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
of course it's good.
Oh,
No, we
boy.
Look how
have
good he's talking to.
No, we have protection.
I'm really amazed. I mean, it's incredible.
I got any tools I wanted, I said, just tell the guy, he knew guys in the crib, you know what I mean? He said,
Mhm.
I have a whole set of drills at home.
I bet you didn't drill very much on that titanium.
No, that was tough. You had to have a special tool, and I
Yeah.
had that made.
Oh, you had to.
I knew someone in repair.
Diamond bit drill bit?
I still got it.
Still got it.
It's a diamond.
It had to be either titanium head or diamond heads all that would have scratched.
I knew someone, he made it for me.
Huh.
Yeah. Because they wanted it even done in the dike, and I was anti.
One hand washes the other.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
That's the way
way,
business gets done.
that's the way the game was played.
Still
Are
is.
you ready for bed?
Still is
And
big
the,
time.
the better players are the ones that survive.
Let's move our while it's go.
I enjoyed that, Grandpa.
I got a lot of them.
Well, I tell you, I don't know who wound them up, but must have been the shrimp or the.
Back out at me.
It,
Oh,
it was the fact.
something.
It was the fact that I came
Hope
back
he
and
might.
refilled his eggnog with rum a little while
Maybe
ago.
is that what it was?
I don't know.
So, I get my
You better eat that.
little thing.
You know what we need to do? We need to load all the kids into the car and send them to the motel room so they can be bounced on ground.
Oh, gee, that would be fun.
That's a good idea.
We can sleep in.
Then I was a guard for,
Yeah, by the time Grandma and Grandpa get them here,
Oh,
we'll have had a full night's sleep.
I was a guard for 10 years. I was a guard.
I can't.
You know, I said.
As a
going
security
nights.
guard?
I used to go
Night
nights.
watch.
And I
Yeah, I
used to,
remember going
He
to
used to
retire,
say,
but
"Oh,
he was
well."
going to work.
and I had they had motors going, heaters up, and I had to make sure they were always
You don't want
going.
to listen to Brother.
Because if they went
I
out,
listened to his whole
then
story.
they get so hot, they would blow out through the metal, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we were working one day, and this guy comes out and he says, "I get the fireman," he says,
Are you
"the
kidding?
gas
Look, he spits
is
it out
up," you know
15
what I mean?
times
So I go
before
out,
he eats
the
it.
gas is going, because that's for,
What is it,
it's
not
for
running?
annealing purposes, the gas goes. Up to the ceiling, the gas is going, in the flame. So I called them, and they never told me where to shut it off, see? So I called the fireman, so I told him to go into this stairway. He goes into the where the parking lot is. So I followed him around, he went in there, and then he shut it off. But you want to see that flame? And when he was annealing, he took it off, and the gas was still coming. So he figured he put it back on again. When he did that, it was so hot, it just, and the flames, you know what I mean? And that's why it went up.
What kind of gas? Like propane?
Yeah,
Natural gas?
I think it was, because they had a nitric tank that they used, you know,
Yes, sir.
and used to come in.
That'd be pretty hairy.
I used to be there alone, but no one ever bothered me.
Fortunate man.
With all these motors going and
Yeah.
everything. Oh,
Fortunate man.
I was fortunate. Guys would come in at times and they'd say someone come around and try to steal stuff.
And you used to have to go and check, make checks, right? So you used to have to walk around.
Yeah.
the whole train.
And if it rained or anything like that thundered, I had about 15 meters I would have to shut down. Otherwise they'd lose everything, you know.
Hmm.
I found a $20 bill in there though.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Fringe
was,
benefits.
that was to your
That
advantage.
was,
Eat that right there. Right there.